Hey guys, this is my first time actually using this thing, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that I thought might help you when you're writing your rough draft. So this morning I posted this handout, and I actually gave you this way back in August as well, but we're going to assume that everyone has lost it. So now it's on Edmodo electronically and you can look at it anytime. But it talks about all of those lead-ins. You can see the 3 different types listed there, and then it goes through and it gives you examples of what they all look like. For example, the easy one, somebody said lead in, and here's the example of that. And notice that's from The Last Kingdom that we read over the summer. And it's super simple. It gives a little bit of context at the beginning, and then it gives the character who says it with the comma and then starts the quote after that. Notice that the citation's right there at the end. And then using the exact same quote, there's an example of a blended quote. And this is where you're just blending that information from the book into your own language and make it all grammatically correct. Okay, so it looks like this. And then notice as well that it still gets the citation at the end because it comes from that novel. The citation's just the page number. And then the last one is the sentence lead in. Again, it's the exact same quote from the book, but for this one, you write a sentence that's like introductory information, background perhaps, just a little bit of explanation, and then you use a colon. Notice that colon there, and then the direct quote from the book comes right after the colon, and then you cite and put your end punctuation at the end. That one actually can work really well if you could get good at it because it allows you to write those 2 separate sentences, but by separating with that different kind of punctuation, you get to count it as a lead-in. Okay, so that handout is on Edmodo, so you can go back to it at any time. I wanted to show you, hang on. I wanted to show you again some of those examples that came from an actual student paper. Now, fair warning, don't pay attention to everything in this paper because he's using things like contractions and be verbs, and we don't want to do that. But what he does do are those lead-ins. Let me blow this up a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So the one that we're looking at right now is the somebody says lead in. It says, she can't count on other people to take care of her, and she says, I liked knowing that I could do what grown-ups did for a living. Walls 74. Okay, the somebody says lead in is literally that simple. You just tell me who said it. Now, you could use a different word. You could say, she questions, she asks, he writes, he exclaims, he supports, or he suggests. Any of those kinds of words that say the same kind of thing, like the word says, those all work. Okay, so that's a pretty easy one. Let's look at the next one. This one is the sentence lead-in. Let's read it. They have to learn to survive. These individuals must develop and maintain problem-solving skills and behaviors that contribute to their own self-enhancement. Okay, so we look at this opening part right before the colon. I just highlighted it. Okay, that could have been a sentence all by itself, but it's introducing this quote from this outside research that the student was using. And because that little sentence that I have highlighted is introductory information, we can use it as a lead-in simply by using a colon in between and not a period. This right here, this colon is what makes it a sentence lead-in. Okay, notice it still gets the citation at the end. And then the last one, it's coming up. Ah, there it is. Okay. This is the one that is a blended quote. Let's take a look. One of the big lessons Jeanette learns from a young age is that life is a drama full of tragedy and comedy. You should learn to enjoy the comic episodes a little more. Walls 129. Okay, so here's where it's blended. See, right here in the middle of the sentence. The whole first part of this sentence is the student's own words. Okay, it's giving a little bit of frame of reference, in this case, maybe a tiny bit of commentary to introduce and lead up to that direct quote. And then starting right there with those quotation marks all the way to the end of the sentence, here to here, that's all straight from the book. A lot of people like using the blended quotes because they give you a little bit more flexibility to write the sentences the way you want them to sound. Sometimes the grammar can kind of be an issue. So, like past tense and present tense verbs. So you kind of have to just decide for each direct quote what's going to work best for you. Okay. But all three quotes have the parenthetical citation at the end. So you really can't forget that part of it. Okay. All of those quotes will have it. I'm scrolling through here quickly to see if he uses something that's just paraphrased, but I didn't see anything. Paraphrasing your research information means putting it in your own words, because sometimes the researched information can be a little complicated or a little clumsy, or you can't make it sound just right when you're trying to use the lead in. So it's totally okay to paraphrase some of your research. Just don't forget that it still has to have that in-text citation. Okay? Remember the rule that I gave you in class. If it doesn't come from your head, you have to tell me where it did come from. All right? That way we don't have any issues with our citations. Now, before I finish with this little screencast, let me show you one more thing that's posted on Edmodo, and you may have already caught it. But that handout that I posted, the first page is that lead-in stuff that I just talked about. The second page is parenthetical documentation, okay? In-text citations, all right? What are these supposed to look like? And then there's all kinds of examples and general guidelines, things to help you with what that should look like. Here are those examples. Okay, so when you don't name the author in your what you actually write, then if you have an author, use author and page number. Here's one with just page number. Here's one with 2 authors. This is the one you're going to use a lot right here. Let's highlight it in yellow, because I predict that you'll use that one quite a bit, because most of your secondary sources are online, and a lot of those are not going to have authors. So when you don't have an author, you use the title of the article. And notice right here with the title of the article, that's in quotation marks. So it's a little crazy because there's like all this punctuation strung together, but it's correct. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so be sure that you're punctuating those article titles as well, because that would be done correctly. Okay, so this can be a really good reference to you when you're doing your in-text citations as you're writing the rough draft. All right, so between the examples that I gave you in the student paper and the handout that's available on Edmodo, I hope that really helps with your lead-ins and even your in-text citations. But just don't forget that you can email me with questions. There's a messaging thing on Edmodo, so you can message me directly, or you can... Sorry, I'm trying to get to the right place. Okay, so you can message me directly or you can send me an email through the Cobb County email. It's just that I will have Edmodo up probably 24/7. Okay, that's a little drastic. But all day for the school day, it's going to be right up here. I'm going to be available because I'm going to be working on things for tomorrow's class and grading your work and so forth. So if you shoot me an email through there, I can hopefully respond pretty quickly. Before I go, let me show you a couple of other things. And I don't know if your page looks exactly like mine, but you're going to want to scroll through because like here, I've posted the assignment so that you can turn in your outline. Oh, look, I've already gotten 5 today. Yay. But if you scroll down, you can see my morning message that just, tells you what we're working on and so forth. Oopsie, they're having a sale at Old Navy. Yay. And the thing is I will probably post multiple times a day. Especially if a lot of students have the exact same question, then I may post one of these little screencast or some sort of little video to help you guys. So you really need to be sure that you're scrolling through Edmodo and make sure you're not missing anything. All right. Also, look for upcoming assignments like mine are right over here. You see my cursor? And that way it'll take me directly to the assignment that's coming up. But I could also use my apps. I can click on this calendar and maybe, here it comes. It's a planner. Okay, so Edmodo can help us keep track of ourselves. And we can see that the outline's due today. Now, I haven't posted it yet, but the rough draft is due on Thursday. So that would pop up there. And then if I were to click on it from my planner, okay, it's going to take me directly to it. So that's handy. Okay, so that's it for right now. Again, let me know if you have questions or if you need further explanation. Right now, you just need to get that outline finished and sent to me, and then be working on your rough draft. There's no Gothic literature for today. I really just want you concentrating on the outline and getting started on that rough draft. Okay, it's rough. So just let your ideas just, get out there and flow. And then we can go back and, fix errors and spice it up and make it as perfect as possible once we get the whole thing written all the way through. Okay, so you guys have a great day. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and I'll see you later.